Hey, and welcome back to this channel. I'm the Spell Singer, and this is my ongoing review of the Way of the Tiger Gamebook series. This review is going to bring you a quick look at the title and book number. I'll read the blurb from my copy. We'll take a look at the plot, check out some of the game mechanics, and have a look at that adventure sheet. And then I'll go through some of the artwork, which I'll run alongside this video, talk about some of my own likes and dislikes, any fun facts that I can think of, any errors there may be, and we'll finish on a summary and score out of 10. So, this is book 2 of the original series, and this is Assassin, and this was written and published 1985, and it was by Mark Smith and Jamie Thompson. So these guys are back. They did a couple of entries with the Fighting Fantasy series of game books, and this is their second entry for the Way of the Tiger series. This has been illustrated by Bob Harvey, so he's back on board. He's done a lot of work with these two guys previously, and his work is also very good in this book as well. Now this cover, this is the main cover that the Brits got, but the Americans got this cover. So not an awful lot of difference. Both sort of depicting the same villain there. And I believe that there was even a more modernized cover, which looks a bit like this one. So let's have a read of the blurb and see what's happening in this book. After a long and dangerous journey, you have successfully retained the Scrolls of Kettsuin, guardian of the secret word of power. Your god Kwon commendations have barely left your lips before you must face the malice of the gods of evil, intent on preventing the Scrolls' return to their rightful place on the Island of Tranquil Dreams. So if you remember, book 1 was all about getting away from the Isle of Tranquil Dreams and trying to get back those Scrolls of Kettsuin from the Grand Master Yeoman. And of course, that's all done, and this book is more about returning along the same journey back to the Isle of Tranquil Dreams to give back those scrolls to the monks of Kwon. So that's the blurb. So the plot for this book. So now, as you say, in the last adventure, you just killed the 3 most powerful villains in all of Orb within Quench Heart Keep, which is kind of like the bad guys' headquarters. You've obtained the Scrolls of Kettsuin, and your god, he appears, Kwon. He shows up, and you're kind of granted an extra skill and everything. And you begin Assassin, this second book, where you left off, literally, where you left off in Avenger. And so you're in the keep. There's a horde of guards all charging up the stairs towards you. It's still raining, and the attack is on. It's quite nice because they all follow on from each other. Some maybe 6 months later, but this one is literally the same evening. So straight away you're in trouble as the guards are alerted to what's been going on in this keep, and they're all charging up the stairs to have a pop at you. So we're still in the world of Orb. This time you get to explore it even more. There are no incorrect routes as such to take at the beginning, and the beginning does give you a few different sort of options in terms of what way you want to go about getting these scrolls back. So that's quite different. Gives you so two or three quite different locations before the first choke point arrives. You can go through the Goblin Teeth Mountains in the north, which is kind of the last place they'll expect you to go when they give chase, or you can head for the Sea of Star in the south, which is an ocean full of these sea elves, via a nearby city, Jurath Glennon, infested with monks from the Scarlet Mantis. So you get a few options, quite nice and open to begin with. So you've become the hero in Avenger by recovering these Scrolls of Kettsuin from a coalition of villains, and their plot is foiled. The scrolls are in your hands, but there's no time to gloat. You're still standing on this rooftop, and the guards are all storming up the stairs. It's time to make your cross-country journey back to the sea, plot a ship for home, and along the way some nasty fellas are going to have a pop at you, and some of the ones you've killed that you thought you killed in Book 1 Avenger are not as dead as perhaps they should have been, and they've sent some people after you. An assassin in particular from the Way of the Scorpion, who you get a chance to have a fight with later on in the book. So the objective, nice and straightforward, is to return the sacred scrolls of Kettsuin to the Island of Tranquil Dreams. Right, that's the plot. So, game mechanics and adventure sheet for this book. Well, the mechanics remain more or less in place from the first book. So combat rules, no change there. I'll put up a little image here and I'll go over the fighting again just in case you've forgotten it. But basically for punching and kicking moves, you roll 2 dice. And if the score exceeds your opponent's defense number, then you successfully hit them. And then you roll the corresponding number of damage dice and then take that off of their endurance. This number is taken away until that endurance basically reaches 0. And then it's after that first battle, that first combat round, your opponent takes their turn to attack. So you'll have your own defense number. You roll 2 dice. If the score is greater than this, then you are injured. Roll 2 dice for the damage, and then reduce your own endurance, and so on until basically one of you is dead. As usual, you can try and block these attacks. So if you are unsuccessful and your opponent wins the attack round and they get a hit in, you can basically try and block this. So you roll a 2 dice again. If the score is less than the defense given, then you've successfully blocked. Otherwise, you're injured in the normal fashion. But in any case, because you've taken the time to block, your opponent has the upper hand and you're -2 points from your modifier for the next combat round only. So it's always worth thinking, should I block or not, depending on what kind of opponent you have. I'll put up here the combat moves that you can do. So from all these moves, you've got all these different kinds of punches, all these different kind of kicks and throws, and they all have their own benefits depending on who you're fighting. Remember in the last book we talked a bit about using the artwork to try and get an understanding of who you're fighting and what moves would work well. Well, it's no different in this book. It's really good to sort of pay attention to the description of your enemies and have a look at the pictures to try and get an idea of what moves would work better. This book gives special rules following on from the campaign progression that we touched on in the last review. You begin Assassin with everything you acquire from Avenger. It's just a case of transferring it all across. So your endurance, your inner force stats, they're all reset, and Kwon, good old Kwon, grants you this new skill from the list, so you can choose something from that list, whatever you think would be most appropriate. And you transfer all these modifiers over as well. There's plenty of decisions that you can make in combat, such as blocking, like I say, throwing, using inner force, and they're not just nice additions. You can do when you get bored. They're there for a reason, and they're really well thought out. You really need to sort of think about what strategy is going to work best. These are all strategic combats in this series of books, so it's worth getting into the habit of doing this, sort of thinking about what will work and what won't. So that is basically the mechanics. So rather they're those all these additional moves and sort of items that you can use and different styles. They're all there to sort of work your way through these combats without taking too much damage, because it is a tough book. This has been thought out very carefully, this edition, and there's sort of a time and a place to see all these options, but you need to sort of think about the circumstances for each combat. Okay, let's have a look at the adventure sheet. So this one, as you can see, has not changed at all from the last one. It won't. It changes, I think maybe for the final book, which I have yet to read, but this one is the same character sheet. So you've got obviously your punch, kick, throw modifiers. You've got all your shurikens there, your ninja tools, which you cross off as you use, your inner force and your endurance, and then there's boxes for your notes and special items. And of course, they all come across from book 1, Avenger. But yeah, no real change. That's the adventure sheet. Okay, let's have a chat and look at some of this artwork that Bob Harvey has done for us. Bob Harvey, once again, brings his unique flavour to this land of Orb and those who inhabit it. It's filled with stunning landscapes, hideous creatures, and lots of detailed characters. Bob Harvey remains very faithful to Mark Smith and Jamie Thompson, delivers another memorable array of excellent artwork. Also, remember the team of adventurers that you meet at the beginning of Talisman of Death? Remember that book from the Fighting Fantasy series? There was a team of adventurers that you can team up with in there temporarily. Well, they feature in this book as well. You meet them at the beginning of Talisman of Death, and they are in this while you bump into them sort of around about sort of start to midway point, and you end up saving their skins from a battle that they're losing quite badly. The Oriental culture theme comes across heavy in this book as well, thanks to Bob Harvey's slightly unique style. Again, the artwork will assist you in the battle strategy when dealing with all your encounters. There's also a section under the sea that if you take that Sea of Star route at the beginning, that kind of harks back to Harvey's excellent artwork on the other book that he did, one of 3 actually that he did, a fighting fantasy called Demons of the Deep. And of course, it's all set underwater, and this little stint in the Sea of Star is just like his artwork in Demons of the Deep as well. So yeah, nice bit of continuity there. I've got a favourite picture as always. This is the ninja from Way of the Scorpion. This is the guy that you have to fight at the end, and he's really tough. So as you can see from this picture, he is every bit the ninja that you are, and Harvey's work here brings him across as sort of portrays him as a very tough adversary, and he really is. Okay, so some of my likes and dislikes in this book. I love the group of adventurers that I mentioned who help you against this undead monster that they're trying to battle. They have this wizard with them who casts the wrong spell and then causes more trouble than good, and this sort of lends to some nice continuity to Orb. That's a really nice touch. You also get to face 3 of the biggest villains in Orb, which are Tuchev, Cassandra, and Thaum, and they're also from the Talisman of Death as well, that Fighting Fantasy book that Smith and Thompson did. They're in that as well. So again, more continuity. So you get to face them, and it's also good that the skills, the skills that you get in this book, there's 2 in particular, feigning death and immunity to poison. They have a lot more use in this book than they did in book 1 in Avenger. So that kind of readdresses the balance of skills that we mentioned in the last review. The book also provides you with plenty of options and gives you lots of places to explore. So this book is in no way linear, certainly not until the end anyway. It's quite a tough entry though. It's not a dislike, but it is hard. This is a lot harder than the first book, in my opinion. After the introduction of Avenger, which sort of got you used to the mechanics and the way the book was going to work, with Assassin, the honeymoon is well and truly over. Some important decisions need to be made in this one. There's some essential items and troublesome encounters that will test your gamebook experience to the max. There's even a couple of decisions to make that will haunt you in books 4 and 5 if you don't make the right decision. It's still obviously doable, but you'll make life a lot easier for yourself if you make certain decisions very well and wisely, shall we say. However, this all makes it the more rewarding, when you do finally reach the end. It is tricky, but when you do get to the end, and it's been a tough old adventure, it kind of makes it that much more rewarding. Right, fun facts. I mentioned reoccurring characters, so Tuchev, Cassandra, and Thaum, who are the trio of chaos worshippers against the antagonists of Avenger throughout the series, basically. These three characters are also featured in Talisman of Death, like I mentioned. Cassandra is kind of like a warrior, noted for her beauty, her speed, her swordsmanship, and she kind of wields this magical cold sword, wears a patchwork armor suit. Tuchev is like a thief who wears this magical cloak, blends in with the dark, wields a sword taller than he is. And Thaum, who's the third guy, he's like a master of magic and illusion, and he's a devious looking, wears this large gold earring. He's very noticeable for this this bit of bling that he wears. But yeah, there's a couple of fun facts for you. Errors. I couldn't find any. I couldn't find any on Titanica either. So it'd be interesting to see if anyone did come across anything that wasn't quite right, whether it be a continuity error or a real game breaker. But put it in the comments, because I certainly didn't find anything on any of my playthroughs. So. Right, let's do a summary and score for this book. This one, Assassin, is a solid follow-up to Avenger, with the plot taking off from where the previous ended. And if you played the previous campaign, you carry over obviously all your items that you obtained in Avenger. And once again, the exposition is brilliant. Smith and Thompson love of the world of Orb. It really shines through, and I believe they created this world while playing their Dungeons and Dragons. They already have a lot of detail to include, and all comes out in this book. You also see the more dangerous side of their world of Orb, avoiding sort of civilized areas and laying low in the wilderness. You see that while humanity is sort of enjoying its cities, there are all these devious creatures living in the mountains and under the sea, with all their own lives and cultures. So of course you get to see that. You're trying to sort of remain inconspicuous, shall we say, while you're trying to get back to the Island of Tranquil Dreams. So you're taking all these routes that you wouldn't have taken in book one, and you're discovering a hell of a lot more. You could also argue that the plot is perhaps thin in that you're simply trying to get home, but are constantly inconvenienced by encounters trying to kill you, basically. There are some good segments, particularly the escape from Quenchheart Keep at the beginning of the book. Right at the start, you're on the run with some troublemakers from Talisman of Death to thwart your plans. The battle at the end is quite well designed against that ninja, the one that I showed you, my fave pick. It's quite well thought out and constructed. It involves a mixture of die rolling and turn-based actions as well. So they're always good to have a bit of variety. There are quite a few paths to victory, and the writing is tighter than it is in Avenger. The ninja skills are better placed as well, better balanced, with all of them having some use in this book, as opposed to maybe only 4 or 5 getting a look in Avenger. However, the difficulty of this book has greatly increased from Avenger. Even on the true path, you have to make quite a few sort of lucky rolls here and there, and anyone who hasn't brought over a few power-ups or special items from Avenger is going to struggle. So this campaign is a straightforward plot, a thrilling escape from Quenchheart Keep, and then embarking on a series of very memorable sort of encounters and environments to pass through on your way back. There are some interesting friends and enemies to meet, as well as, but the difficulty levels are quite high, to say the least. It's also great how the authors arrange the villains with a variety of strong and simple encounters. So there's that as well. You've got, after the back of a strong battle, you might be faced with another one quite soon after, but it's relatively straightforward. So it's quite nicely balanced, but you also get a chance to get your endurance back as well along the way. So it's a really great addition. There's no shortage of tough villains. There's the son of the god of void. There's several sort of Japanese influenced demons, and of course that ninja from the way of the scorpion who's following you. It's not only well designed, it's not only a well designed battle, but the prose leading up to this fight with this ninja from the way of the scorpion is very descriptive, very high standard writing. The battle takes place through kind of several different rooms at the end, so you're recovering after your ordeal and something just doesn't feel quite right. So you go off and sort of explore while everyone's asleep, and that's when he comes at you. Yeah, lots of different rooms. So the fight is epic. It's kind of broken up with text describing the situation. And a combination of items and moves are offered as well. So you'll get a bit of a punch up, and then the fight breaks out into another room, and then there's a bit of a punch up, bit of dice rolling, and it truly is exhausting end battle. And it draws the episode to a sort of nice conclusion. Yeah, so all in all, this is an improvement, but I think I would still give this book a very high 7 out of 10. It really is a great addition to the series, and kind of wraps up that first, book 1 and 2 kind of wrap up the first stage of this adventure, of this story of the Way of the Tiger, because book 3 is set a few months later, and you get a whole different goal, if you like. But yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted to say about this book. It was really good. I enjoyed it a lot. It was a real corker. So yeah, the next book we'll do is book 3, and that is called Usurper. So we'll do that one next. Arguably the best book. A lot of people's favourites, a lot of fan favourites say it's the best in the series. So we'll have a look at that one. But if you liked this video, then maybe give it a thumbs up, maybe share it with someone who you think may also like it. And comment. It's always good to know who likes these books. And I've done a lot of reviews of the Fighting Fantasy series, but it's good to know if there are like-minded people who enjoyed The Way of the Tiger as well. So yeah, chuck a comment in there, and I'll see you in the next review.